I think the AFC North in general is a very fascinating and more peculiar divisions in the NFL with, high-powered offense and high-powered defense. The more aggressive division that we have seen where teams clash with each other. For an example, the Ravens and Steelers end up being a defensive slugfest because both those defenses are insane, especially last year and the year prior. And you have, dark horses like the Browns who still have question marks when it comes to their quarterback play, but overall have a defense that's, insane. And with Myles Garrett at the helm, you are bound to be, in the conversation. And then we're going to talk about the Ravens and the Bengals because both these teams last year had very polar opposite seasons where one finished at the top of the division and made the playoffs, was a first seed in the AFC, and then melted down in the AFC championship game. However, the opposite happened where your star quarterback got injured and wasn't able to play and essentially missed the playoffs, being the last seed in the division with the other three teams in your division moving to the playoffs. So the real question is, what is going to happen now with the Ravens and the Bengals going in this upcoming season? But before that, what's up, guys? Welcome back to So Back Sports, and I'm So back with another video. And before we get into this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and it really helps me create content like this for you guys. And we're almost at 500 subscribers. I know we can do this by the end of the year, and let's just keep at it. Anyways, to the video. Now, I really want to talk about what I think is going to happen, and that is I feel like you're going to have a competitive battle going into next season between three teams, really. The Steelers, the Bengals, and the Ravens, and more so the Ravens and the Bengals because, you're going to have a healthier Joe Burrow, and usually after a missed season, Joe Burrow tends to be very healthy and pretty much be able to stay healthy because if you consider his rookie season, he missed the season due to an ACL tear and then followed the season up with making the Super Bowl. So you have, and also the following year, he made the AFC Championship game as well. So, you have opportunities to win with Joe Burrow. And I think, this injury, yes, it was a nagging injury and it ended up costing him not being able to play for the rest of the season. But you got to keep in mind, look at this, this depth chart. You have Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is a big question mark, but he seems to be staying. He's going to probably sign. He signed a quick deal, and he's probably going to stay for the end of this year or at least till the trade deadline. You have a relatively decent offensive line still. With some relatively good depth. You added some, key pieces in the rookie side for the offensive line. And then you have Joe Burrow. The one thing I will say is a big question mark is that now without Joe Mixon, you have Zach Moss and Chase Brown as your as your running backs, 1 and 2. I think that the Chase Brown is going to have a solid upcoming season. He's shown glimpses at the end of last season where he can be a potential running back one in this upcoming season. He was great in college, one of the best running back prospects in college in the previous draft. Went to the Bengals, wasn't necessarily considered in the top 2 running back spots, but made his case when Mixon went down and whatnot. Anyways, now going into the Ravens So the Ravens, on the other hand, they've gotten some upgrades at running back. They got Derrick Henry. They did lose Gus the Bus, but overall, I wouldn't say that their running back room is going to be any hindered because you're going to run through Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson mainly, and Justice Hill at times. The main thing is the tight end room with Mark Andrews being fully healthy now, and then Isaiah Likely being fully healthy as well. You're going to have the 2 double set tight end sets, and you're going to have a wide receiver room, which, Zay Flowers is proving to be a stud, and he's going to only improve going forward. Rashad Bateman is solid. Aguilar is all right. They added Devontae Walker. Malik Cunningham is still there, but all in all, I don't think that they have too many issues when it comes to offense. It's mainly about execution. Now that I've talked about really their offenses, both their defenses are pretty solid standpoints. They did lose some key pieces, like Ravens lost Queen, but they tried to readjust in the draft. So let's have to see going forward what's going to happen. They still have Kyle Hamilton, Van Noy, Roquan Smith, Owe, Madubuike. They signed to a massive extension, and Washington, etc. Marlon Humphreys as well. I think they're going to be fine defensively. It really depends, because now, if you look at it, both these teams have changed. Well, they've retained at least the Ravens have retained their offensive coordinator. However, their defensive coordinator is what really made them special last season. Mike Macdonald has now gone to the Seattle Seahawks for a head coaching opportunity. So how will the Ravens adapt now? How will the Ravens, with their stacked defense, adapt to the play scheming that Zach Orr will bring? Will it be slightly different? That's a big concern for me. And while it may not be, talent supersedes play at times, like our play calling at times, play calling is a very important thing when it comes to defenses, especially if you don't want defensive structure to break down. And then going into the Cincinnati Bengals side, they have retained a lot of their defense, but I think they're also pretty solid and stacked. It's just a matter of their offensive coordinator, who Brian Callahan is now on the name's leaving. Oh, the Tennessee Titans as their head coach now. So, what does this all stand mean? I feel like now with new staff, with relatively changed offense and pieces, I think it's going to be a battle between Cincinnati and the Ravens. And I think that the Ravens are going to have a little bit of a tougher time adjusting to life without Mike Macdonald, because I think what made the defense so special last year, and what made the Ravens hold Mahomes to 0 points in the second half, which is utterly impressive to me. If there was a big takeaway from the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship game, is that defense under Mike Macdonald was able to hold Mahomes to 0 points in the second half. That, to me, speaks volumes, because that's how good he was as a defensive coordinator. How will, Zach Orr be, perceived in the locker room, how he will be able to play call, we'll only see in given time in the upcoming season. But I don't think that I think this is probably a little step down compared to what they had with Mike Macdonald. And Mike Macdonald was the reason they were still in that game. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, in key moments and crucial moments, went away from what works, and that is the run game. The run game is the bread and butter for the Baltimore Ravens. And I know and I understand Lamar Jackson needs to throw the ball more. And I get that. You need the quarterback to play like a quarterback. But Lamar Jackson's athleticism needs to be utilized. Otherwise, then why did you pay that much money for him in the first place? And he does make bonehead mistakes. But I think that if you utilize 50-50 and good balance in between the two, I think they will be pretty solid. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably in the regular season, but I don't think that they're going to be as, well off as the Cincinnati Bengals, because Joe Burrow is going to be under the helm again. And all this is given health. All right. If Joe Burrow goes down, that means the Ravens automatically have the division. Maybe the Steelers give them a little tough time, but I think that the division goes to the Ravens. But with health, given health, I think that Joe Burrow takes this division. I don't see, I think that Chase Brown is going to prove himself to be a really solid running back. Mike Gesicki is their tight end one, I guess. Sample. I think the overall team in general, with the wide receivers they have, is going to be pretty good. And I think although I do like the Ravens' offensive line, I just feel like their play calling is going to be a little bit suspect. So let me know what do you think down in the comments below. Do you think that the Ravens have the better opportunity to win? Do you think that the Bengals have the better opportunity to win? Or do you think it's the other two teams in the division? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to read what you guys have to say. As always, I'll see you guys in the next one.